Um, do you know what it's like to patiently wait on God? It was a conversation I was having today with a friend of mine or an acquaintance, rather. I don't know how you want to describe it, but anyway, um, do you know what it's like to patiently wait on God? And I have been testing myself, testing spirit. This is about to be a deep one. Come on, somebody. Okay. First, before me even let me just pray first, because I ain't even pray. Heavenly Father, I come to you as always. I know how I ask for the Holy Spirit to enter me for me to pray. First and foremost, giving glory and demand power to the to the creator of all things, understanding from all universe, or you and I are one and the same. And Lord, I ask that you allow this message to come through clearly without interference of self or carnal mind. Let spirit speak freely and fluidly how you deem fit. Passion. Okay. So what it be? Whatever you want to say, call it be free. um, so I've been testing my spirit lately to get to know me and to understand myself better. And so, in the process of testing my spirit, I've been learning about how I present myself or how I show up in the world. And so, um, it's been stages to this entire process because I've learned about discernment and I've learned about intentionality and I've learned about um I've learned about gaslighting because this whole journey is not just a couple of years. It's just like your life journey in a sense. And so I'm testing my spirit and I'm recognizing where I have grown and where I still need to make changes or adjustments in my life. And so in areas where I've grown, I applaud myself, I give myself some grace, and I keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? I allow it to just flow naturally. However, in areas where I know I'm still being triggered is where I have been applying more effort and energy and attention to when it comes to myself and how I show up in the world. And so learning to understand how you show up for yourself is in essence how you show up for you and how you spend time with you and how you connect with you and how you get to know you and how you get to understand you and you take the time to sit down and talk to yourself or journal or write down your feelings because people are like, oh, you're crazy for talking to yourself. You're not talking to yourself per se. You're talking out loud so you can feel or hear your thoughts. And there are so many different aspects of you, like, because what I'm learning is that each emotion shows up differently in your personality and in your personality traits and your habits and your behaviors, how you do things. That's why, like, if you get mad, how you throw things and shove things around and you just do things grudgingly, your emotion affects your action, how you show up, you know? And I have been testing my spirit. I have been evaluating all parts of me. I have been understanding my willpower and understanding my speech and understanding my thought process and my imagination and my moral compass and my I would say judgment, although I choose really not to judge others. They say judge others according to how you judge yourself. So I'm working on really being transparent with me. So, working on my expression of my opinion, recognizing whether or not my opinion is valid or not, really holding true to me, holding myself accountable for my actions and my behavior. And this is my season of receiving, as I explained to someone. This is a spirit of receiving. And it's a matter of humbling yourself to understand and know that when you are receiving, it's not a matter to be boastful. It's is for me, it's humbling because I am not used to being in the situation that I'm in. Like, not to say like I haven't had, you know, turmoil, hardship, or trials. Yes, I've experienced it. I've experienced it before, so I know that what I'm going through currently right now, I will get through it. However, I have not experienced it at this level. Like, you know how people say as you mature and you grow up, there's new levels, new devils. It's the same thing when it comes to receiving and growing and evolving and changing. When God is getting ready to bless you or put a blessing on your life or anoint you with something, you have to be prepared for it. It doesn't just show up, it doesn't just come. He prepares you, she prepares you, the universe prepares you by testing your spirit, testing, whether or not you really learned your lesson about that cycle, that season of your life, to see if you're ready to go to the next season or to see if you're ready to mature. You know what I mean? Especially when you're getting ready to age up and when it's close to the time for your birthday, you get 6 months to pretty much live and experience, and then another 6 months to learn, to understand how not to do what you did in the beginning, those first 6 months, how to do it better if you were doing it right or you were doing good. But you always have to have a reflective mindset, and this for the sake of learning. You have to have a reflective mindset for the sake of learning, and not just learning about yourself, but learning about others and how they show up for you too, and in the interaction and the exchange that you have, right? And so I am learning about myself. I'm taking the time to recognize certain circumstances or situations that arise that affect me, that alter how I feel on the inside, or bring up, or triggers me, or brings up something that I thought that I may have dealt with, or something that I thought I may have healed from, or something where I believe that I had, evolved from, right? That's the spirit testing you, right? And so it comes up again for you to address it. Yet when you address it, those triggers, when they come up, when you address it, you have to recognize who you were and where you were at that point in time. Who were you at that point in time in your life? Were you really, being honest with yourself? Were you being truthful with yourself? Were you being authentic with yourself? Were you, just trying to fit in? That's why you made that decision or whatever. Like, really evaluate yourself, right? And as you evaluate yourself, give yourself grace. Don't be hard on yourself like, oh my God, you were so stupid for doing that. No, give yourself some grace. And giving yourself grace, recognize like where you can evolve, where you can grow. What did you learn from that experience? Why am I being triggered again? Why is this coming up? Oh, to recognize or see what I learned from that, or recognize and see how I've grown from that, or where maybe I should tweak this about that when I move forward, or if should this experience ever come up again, or this feeling or this emotion or this thought process comes up again, this is how I'll think about it from going forward. And you always want to be optimistic. You always want to be hopeful. You always want to move in a direction that's beneficial to you. Now, that brings about some of the things that I myself have been struggling with or challenged with to address, or I've been made aware of or being made aware of in my personality, right? Because triggers are not just, things that happen to you. Triggers are also like tweaks or behaviors or mannerisms that you develop, right? And so I'm recognizing some behaviors and thought processes and actions that I have taken in my past that I've currently come face to face with, and been faced to literally have to decide I'm going to do it again the same way. And so instead, I'm reflecting on me. What was going on with me at that point in time when I had initially felt that emotion, right? What was happening at that time when I initially developed that character trait or that character flaw, that personality defect, or that personality change or altering, that spark? What was happening when I first experienced that thing that makes me feel this way, right? And it's your feelings. Your feelings are an indication of the world around you. Like, it's how you interact with the world around you. It's what's going on the inside. You know what I mean? And what happens on the inside is reflected on the outside, right? The outer world is a reflection of what's happening in your inner world. And when your inner world is not at peace and it's in turmoil and it's, just it's altered or shaken or it's not stable. It's just something going on inside. You just don't understand it. Sometimes it's confusion. You want to figure it out, or you should, or try, you know. For me, I'm seeking to understand it so that I can do something about it if something needs to be done. And so, to be a little bit more transparent, I have been, um, hmm, I have been tested in the area, or am currently being tested in the area of self-worth, worthiness. I'm being tested in the area of love. I'm being tested in the area of finance, acceptance, receiving, and what's the other one? Oh, trust. That's the biggest one. Trust. I'm being tested in these areas of exercising and moving in faith, and having to find my faith and my belief again, right? Because I don't understand why I experienced the things I experienced when I experienced them. However, what I have learned through my journey in life is that everything that's happening to me is happening to me through the act of my connection and relationship with God, right? Because I trust and I believe in God. I know who God is. God lives in me just like I live in him, and we live simultaneously. Not to say that I am omnipresent, or I'm sovereign in the sense where I'm beyond or bigger than what the creator themselves or himself is. It's understanding the God power energy that was anointed to me, that was blessed to me, the life that was given to me, right? Because we were given life. We were created divinely in the image of God. And when we understand that and the depths of that, because some people be like, oh, you know what you're talking about. No, when you understand the depths of it, you understand your greatness, the blessing that you are, right? And so I tell people all the time, I'm a very spiritual person. I'm not so much a religious person. I'm very spiritual. And people, I still have debates or misconstruencies with people about it. And so I'm choosing to figure out where my flaws are and work on me, because my journey is my journey. Who am I to tell you that you're wrong for living or thriving how you deem fit? You know what I mean? What I'm learning is to accept me in this process, despite how anybody might perceive me or how anybody might, think about me or understand me or attempt to, connect to me. I'm focused on me. And it's not to be selfish, it's to exercise in self love, to recognize my purpose on this planet, which many of us need to do. Recognize your purpose. What is your meaning? Why are you here? Why did God create you? Right? And so I'm having to unlearn a lot of beliefs that I had allowed to attach itself to me, to my vessel, to my being, right? Because when you go through experiences, you tend to believe and think that you deserved some of the things you went through. Now, that is something that's, something else though, right? Because realistically, everything that happens to us is a result of something that we deserved because we created it. It's first thought in the mind, right? It first manifests in the mind. What you think about. What you think about is what you exert and put your energy into. And many of us are not aware how positive and how, not positive, well, I'm not going to say that, I don't want to be positive, but how strong, how positive was not the word I was looking for. I don't know why that came out, and it wants to come out again. Powerful, thank you. That is the word I'm looking for, powerful. How powerful a thought really is. And I'm saying positive out loud, I'm understanding now, because I want to make sure that when I'm having my thoughts, that my thoughts are always positive, right? Because if you focus on negative thoughts, if you allow negative emotions or negative feelings or negative ideations or or just negative connections to manifest in your mind, you begin to manifest it in your feeling, then you begin to manifest it in your energy, you begin to manifest it in your speech, and you begin to manifest it in your actions, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And then you wonder why is all this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Because you are sending it out to yourself. You are projecting to the world what you need to help you fix you on the inside. However, it's all in how you're paying attention to it. Many of us are distracted by other people and what's going on in their lives. When, in essence, if we focused and paid more attention to what is actually going on in our lives, we would be that much better. And then we would also be in a position to actually be able to help somebody else, should that be our mission or our goal. Right? And so I'm learning these things as I'm living currently in my life right now. I'm learning these things. I'm learning about humbling my spirit. I'm learning about being patient and understanding the difference between patience and tolerance. I'm learning, I wrote it on a sticky note, preparation and the pain, right? I'm learning that pain is preparation for what's to come next. It is like an alarm to your system to tell you, hey, wake up, pay attention. This is what's going on, and this is what you can do about it. This is what you need to do about it, and this is how you can operate should you choose. So I made a short and I said, how are you showing up? Right? How intentional are you about your actions? How are you operating in faith? And faith is an act. It's an action word. It's a belief. A belief is an action. To believe in something is to act on it, to think on it. To think is an act. When you are thinking, you are actively using your mind. Right? Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. My throat just instantly got dry. That's crazy. Excuse me. However, when you think, you're acting, right? It is an action. You are actively using your mind. You are actively having a spark of energy flow through your brain that is creating something that you are processing in that moment, right? That creative energy flow, that thought process can manifest, and it usually does, depending on how much energy you put behind that thought. Like whatever emotion you were feeling at the time when you had that thought. That's how strong it can be, and how strongly you are connected to that emotion, how strongly are you connected to that feeling is how how more that sounds so weird. Is how much more, thank you. Is how much more that effect is in your actual life, how it shows up, how it manifests. So if you are always in a bad mood, you're always thinking about negative things, question yourself. Ask yourself, why do I feel this feeling? Why do I feel this emotion? Why am I having this ache or this pain? Why am I thinking this thought? Where did it come from? Is this my thought? Was it something that was developed or produced by me? Or was it something that I heard? Or was it something that I was privy to or exposed to? Or was it something that I saw? Right? Because we take in information through our eyes and our ears. And then we take in and process information and things or goods through our body, right? By eating it. Also by touching. We take in information through our senses. And not just our physical sense, but our spiritual sense and our emotional sense. And many people are not taught about that. And when you talk about it, many people think you're crazy because of the science behind it. Oh, this and that. It's so many different levels to who you are and the physical, religious, spiritual world. It's so many levels to it. Like religion really clouds people's like minds. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody because it's never my intention to offend anybody or disrespecting anybody in any way, shape, or fashion. And I was raised in a Baptist household, a Christian Baptist household. However, my family, even though we were raised in Christian Baptist household, we were also not indoctrinated. I was going to say indoctrinated because we really weren't indoctrinated. We were indoctrinated with our traditional faith. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, you really want to put it out there. We were indoctrinated with our traditional faith, what was passed down through our lineage and our ancestry, through our family. My grandmother used to have dreams and they would come true. She would call my mom and be on the phone talking to her. My mom would tell what the dream meant, and then lo and behold, it would happen. I would see it happen in different people's lives in our family. But it wasn't talked about. It was like taboo. You're not supposed to talk about it. It was taboo, I'm sorry. It was like taboo. We weren't supposed to talk about it. You know, people treated you different because you had a gift. Spiritual gifts are blessings to different souls, and many people have them. Yet many people are treated differently and are not always received well when they have spiritual gifts or when they are in tune or inclined to use them. Because many people do not understand them or accept them because of what we were taught and told when we read our Bibles. Now, I'm not, again, because I don't want to offend anybody, because I faithfully am getting into reading my Bible more. The Bible does teach about voodoo and witchcraft and wizardry, and it talks about how you shouldn't practice certain things and you shouldn't seek to understand and know the future and things of that nature. However, the Bible also talks about spiritual gifts, and it talks about what they are and how they show up. And many of us are not understanding of these gifts and understanding that a feeling and an emotion is a spirit. It's an energy that's being sent to you, right? And this is like, this is a lot. Whew. As I'm telling this message, I'm feeling so much be released off of me, right? Because I'm healing. This is a healing process. I'm learning about the spiritual realm and spiritual world, understanding God and his greatness and the creation of what he is and what he stands for. And, or I say he as not as a gender specific word, because that's just how I refer to source or God. It doesn't necessarily because he's not masculine or feminine. He's not a thing in that regard. You know what I mean? God is so much more than that. So much more than a title, right? Like, he's so much more than a title. It's levels to the understanding and the essence of God. It's a presence, it's a feeling, it's an emotion, it's a belief, it's a truth. It is a truth. And that's massive too, right? Because truthfully, you are who you are and you are who you were created to be if you're living, if you're alive and you're breathing and you're walking this planet. Many of us do not walk in our truths. Many of us hide ourselves, we mask ourselves, we shield ourselves from others because we don't want to be seen, heard, perceived, or understood, although we crave the opposite of it, which is like calamity because many of us are shy or nervous, anxious, or we just feel trapped in situations and circumstances because of perspective and mind frames or comfortability or lack thereof, right? Motivation, you experience so much you don't even feel motivated to do it anymore. You just want to give up. Many of us are depressed. And we don't even recognize and realize it. And I had to learn because I went through depression, baby. I don't play about it no more. Like, I had to learn, right? Depression can be beautiful if you really, really do the work. Because depression is like a reset button. It's God telling you to snap back to reality. Come back to the present moment. Recognize your greatness and know who you are, right? It's slow down. Take a moment, look at, reevaluate. Know what you went through. It's understand this feeling. Understand where are you not expressing this feeling? Where are you not showing up? Depression is a reset button for your I want to say parasympathetic psychological system. It's a reset button for you. I know when you in it, it don't feel good. I promise you it don't. Feeling so heavy and lethargic and just overwhelmed or on that uneased. I was gonna say at ease, but yeah, uneased, feeling overwhelmed or just inadequate, or feeling lost or confused or afraid or hurt or just, misunderstood, feeling invisible. What I had to learn was everything that I wanted outside of myself, I had to give it to myself first. I had to find it within me. So you have to find it within you. Whatever you crave, desire, want, or you want to move towards, you have to find that thing inside of you first. You gotta believe it. You gotta feel it. You gotta know it. You gotta claim it. You gotta really trust that it's going to happen in your life for you. You have to manifest it. And manifestation is not an easy process when you are carrying baggage, when you are in denial, when you are not walking in your truth or being your authentic self, when you are wearing masks and masking your feelings or masking your emotions or masking your behaviors or masking your mannerisms or masking your parts of your personality or your actions or how you really are. Like, it's so much harder to manifest or bring things. And the crazy part is you'll manifest more negative than you will good. Your vibrational frequency is how good you feel about you. What kind of love are you giving to yourself? Are you really loving on yourself? What's your your perspective of you? Would you date you? Would you hug you? Would you love you? Would you listen to you? Do you listen to you? Do you love on you? Do you look at yourself in the mirror and look in your eyes and give yourself some words of affirmation or positive insight on yourself? Hey, beautiful. I heard a woman say that in her video. And I don't know why. It was like a light bulb went off in my head and was like, oh, you know what? I talk to myself and I say, hey, what's up, girl? Get up. Good morning. You got this. It's okay. You can make it through this. Just figure it out this way or do that way. You know what I'm saying? I talk to myself to encourage myself, to motivate myself. But do I really love on myself? Do I encourage myself in a different way where I'm saying, hey, beautiful? Am I boosting my self-worth, my self-esteem? Right? And not to be, arrogant, or conceited or prideful or boastful, to love myself, to genuinely just love myself, right? To acknowledge me, to accept me, the parts of me that I'm afraid of, the parts of me that I really just don't know, don't understand, the parts of me that I do understand. The parts of me that I am absolutely infatuated with, you know what I'm saying? I'm really getting to know me and understand me. And I wanted this video. I just had to just express this because I'm just like, yo, people need to know how to love themselves. It starts with just thinking of you, not in a selfish way, in a selfish manner. The healing journey is not something that happens overnight, right? The healing journey takes time. And I'm learning that. I've been on my journey right now. I've been on my journey since I was 5, right? However, each cycle, each stage of my life, it's a different journey. You know what I mean? It's a different lesson, a different message, a different goal, it's a different, level. And this journey, this cycle, this season is finally coming to a close. So I'm reflecting on this season of my life and recognizing, you know, I like to reflect all the way back to my childhood, not just the last season, you know what I mean? I like to go back and look all the way through everything to see everything, right? To recognize, my childhood faults, baby, when I was a baby, an infant, a toddler, an adolescent, a child, I would go through all those moments. Teen, my 20s, my 30s. I backtracked through all of it and I'm still in my 30s. I don't think I look like I'm in my 30s. I get compliments all the time. However, oh my goodness, I'm definitely about to share this. I'm so ecstatic. I got my first gray hair today. I found it today. November 12th. Well, the 1st or 12th. It was the first, actually, because it was like 11, 10 o'clock. Anyway, I digress. I was in the mirror giving myself some self-love, which I was just talking about. And I say I actually had used the bathroom and then I was like, wait, I didn't talk to myself in the mirror today. I didn't look at me and say hey to me. And so I flicked the light and I'm like, hey, beautiful, hey, gorgeous. And I'm looking at myself and I'm admiring me and I'm smiling at me. And I say, well, I'm gonna look into my eyes and I'm looking in my eyes to see what I see and to I ask myself, what are you seeing in there? What's behind that eye? What's the story behind that eye or those eyes? What is the story behind those eyes, right? And as I'm saying these things and thinking these things to myself in the mirror, I happened to turn my head and I seen a shimmer, and baby, it was my first gray hair, and the feeling that I felt was ecstatic. Like I was like beyond excited and intrigued and just I called my sister. Oh my god. I called her and girl, I know she probably was like really, bro, like gray hair, like you really calling me about gray. But I was just so blown away by finding it. And for me, the fascination, it comes because when I say I've been through so much, and I probably will divulge different parts of it in some point in time and throughout the course of this channel. However, I have been wanting to know when I was going to get my first gray hair. How old was I going to be? How was I going to feel? What was I going to think about it? Was it going to be a lot that sprung up at one time? Was it going to be what? Like, I had so many thoughts about getting gray hair. And for me, gray hair for me is it's like a badge to me. It's like a badge of honor. I know some people like, what? But for me, it's like wisdom. That's why I always equated gray hair or the production of gray hair to wisdom, where you begin to mature so much that you begin to age, right? You start to show your actual age because you're maturing. And it's funny to me because everybody look at, gray hairs differently. But for me, it was like a rite of passage. Like, finally, I'm growing up, right? I'm having a moment. But it was like, finally, I'm growing up. Finally, I'm seeing myself differently. Finally, I'm maturing. Finally, I'm learning these lessons. Finally, I'm not allowing myself to be held back no more. Finally, I'm releasing me. You know what I'm saying? Finally, I'm going to go be free. Because I told somebody real quick in a heartbeat, girl, go be free. Girl, get off my face. Go be free. I would tell somebody in a heartbeat, go be free. I'm not the 1, the 2, or the 3. I ain't got time. Leave me alone. Go be free. Like, I don't have time for certain things. And I was talking about standards and boundaries and understanding between standard and boundary and understanding between that and a barrier, right? Because I'm learning. I'm on my self journey. I'm learning, right? And I'm learning to open my heart and to love again. Because I did mention that in the beginning. I'm learning to open my heart and love again. And baby, learning to love, like genuinely love and feel it is a process, especially when you've been hurt in love, because many of us have been hurt in love. And so we put up these boundaries or these barriers or these blockages because we don't want to feel that pain no more, right? When somebody break your heart or somebody do something to you and they hurt you to your core, you feel some kind of way, you don't want to feel that pain no more. I'm not gonna put myself in that. I'm not gonna let you get that close to me no more. No. Right? So you put up these you put up your guards. You put up your dukes. Like, hold up, friend. So I'm learning that when you block your heart, you don't allow yourself new love too. You're blocking your heart not just to other people, but to yourself too. And so you have to heal. You have to learn to reopen your heart, not for other people right away. You know what I'm saying? You have to learn to reopen your heart to you first, and then allow people to gradually enter. However, in this stage of my life, I'm learning that I have to trust other people. And in the process of trusting other people and their energy and their genuineness, it's helping me to open my heart again, to trusting myself, trusting that and believing that I am putting my trust in the right person. You know what I mean? By honoring my feelings, my emotions, my thoughts, right? By honoring what I know, what I understand, what I've learned, what I've experienced, my discernment, with my intuition, right? With my faith, right? With my spirit. I'm learning to open my core, to open my heart again, right? And I'm recognizing where I went left in relationships because of the relationship I had with myself, right? How this relationship went this way because of the relationship I had with myself at that time in my life, right? And I question all the time, why is this happening to me? And why did this happen? Why does it go down? What did I give out? What did I say? What did I think? What did I do that warranted this reaction, this response, this energy, this pushback, this kickback, this test, this trial, this tribulation, right? This karma. What did I do? What did I give off? What did I put out, right? Because for our reaction, there's a reaction and counteraction, right? So you want to be mindful of what energy and tension you put out into the atmosphere, right? And so I'm like, I know that I'm not perfect because nobody on this planet is perfect. Baby, none of us are perfect, right? So I know that we're not perfect. And understanding that I am not perfect, I'm human. I make mistakes. I have human traits, human flaws, just like the next person, the next me, right? Where do I need to grow up? Where do I need to make that change? Where do I need to be different? Where do I need to make an acceptance of acknowledgement of self? Where do I need to be accountable, right? Accountable for me. Where am I? How did I show up for me in that moment? How did I show up? Excuse me. What was my, thank you Lord, for confirmation. What was my behavior? How did that affect me? How did that affect the person that I was interacting or engaging with at that time? What transpired after that? Right? Learning, like really playing my tape back. And because I was talking about love, I'm going to focus on love at this part because this message is jumping. I don't know. I feel like I'm hitting on my points. But when it came to love, right? I genuinely love unconditionally. I love people the way I want them to love me, wholeheartedly. For me, the disconnect was that I couldn't feel it in the core of my heart anymore. A part of me had closed off a portion of my heart because of grief, of loss, right? Of loss. lost. I was lost. I was of loss that had me feeling lost, right? Grieving, in essence, is releasing and letting go of something. And I have had to let go of, I'm getting emotional. I have had to let go of so much. And I let go of myself in the process. And then I had to find me again. I had to do the soul searching to find me. And so I'm learning. I'm not even learning. I'm calling me back to me. I'm calling my heart back to me by learning to love me, all of me. The parts of me that I released and let go, the parts of me that, I was not so proud of, the parts of me that, I genuinely didn't love, I didn't care for, I didn't give any energy to. Like, my self-worth was a big one, right? A big one. Like, am I worthy of love? Am I worthy of trust? Am I worthy of hope? Am I worthy of belief? Do I deserve it? And I said that in one of my videos, my last video, I believe. Am I deserving of it? What was the thought process that made me feel like, I wasn't deserving of it? And many of us feel like we don't deserve to be loved or deserve to be happy or deserve to feel good. What? Why? 41 when I said that. Why? We deserve to be happy. We deserve to find joy in the little things. We deserve to love ourselves. Right? We deserve it. Nobody has to give that to you. You can give that to yourself. You deserve to love you. You deserve it. What? Like, you say you deserve love from someone else, but how are you expecting something from someone else that you don't even give to you? How are you really loving you? Right? And to love you is to accept you, to not hide you, to be authentically you, to trust in you, to believe in you, to speak you and to you and show up for you. Because a friend of mine, I'll call her friend, but she was actually I'm not even going to say that. I don't want to put false. How do I want to put this? Because I don't want to say that. A person, I'll say, a person I know that was very important at the time in my journey, because she helped a lot. um, a person that I had acquainted and crossed paths with said to me one day, you know, she said to me, "Have you ever heard of a holy no?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "Every time you tell somebody else yes, you tell yourself no." And I said, "What? No, I don't." She says, "Well, yes, you do." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? Elaborate. I want to know. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to grow. I'm not trying, because trying to I'm 43. Okay, I'm changing. I'm working on myself." Um, I said, "I want to learn. I want to know. I want to heal." You know what I'm saying? And at the time, she was a Reiki master. So she was helping me heal my energy, right, in different ways. I see, once I received the healing in that manner and energetically to, kind of start going on that journey, I released. I had to let go. I had to do it on my own. I had to, okay, you did your part. Now let me go do mine. Let me go do the work. Right. And so she said to me, "Have you ever heard of the holy no?" And I was like, "No, what do you mean? Elaborate." And so she was like, "Every time you do something that you really don't want to do, or you assist in something you really don't feel, your heart is really not in it, or your energy is really not in it, and you do it anyway, you're not exercising the holy no. And I was like, okay, well, how do you exercise the holy no? And she says, stop telling other people yes and tell them no. Right? Because every time you tell somebody yes and you agree to do something that you're genuinely not in, you are allowing them a portal to you to drain you or take from you or to pour. They can pour in or take out. Many times they're pouring, they're leeching, basically. You're allowing someone to connect a portal to you to leech from you or energetically connect to you and leech from you. And so I was like, what? That don't make sense. And then I had to really sit with it and think about it. Every time I did something I knew I shouldn't have did or knew I just didn't feel like doing, I found myself in a situation or I found myself feeling some kind of way, feeling drained. Right? I found myself in crazy situations that I shouldn't have even been in, but I'm trying to help somebody in it because I don't want them to not feel, or people pleasing, doing stupid stuff. Right? Right? And so I had to learn to tell people no and be okay with it. Right? Be okay with telling somebody no. And so I started to apply it to not just the love of myself. However, I started applying it to the love in relationships with people. And I probably should make this a separate video, but I'm whatever anyway. And I started to pay attention to my relationships, the relationships that I've had with the partners over my entire life. What happened, not even just partners, just with people, period, in my entire life. I started really paying attention to the relationships that I had in my life. And I really started to evaluate what was going on in those relationships. And I started evaluating, how I was feeling, interacting with those people in those relationships and what it was bringing to me, whether it was filling me up or tearing me down or whatever was going on. And I started releasing. And I went to an emotional place earlier when I was saying something about grief. However, grief doesn't always have to be sad. Grief can also be freeing, right? And I'm learning that in the process. I'm learning to release and let go of what no longer serves me, right? And be okay with it. And the sooner that I'm finding them or making peace with those decisions and choices, the lighter and the better I feel. And the stronger the connection is to what it is I truly seek and want, right? And so you have to be very intentional about what it is you're seeking in your life. And I choose to, align my search with that of the Most High, with Source. God, what do you want me to have in my life? You know what I'm saying? Source, what did you create me for? Source, what purpose do you have for me to fulfill today? You know what I'm saying? And I do it on a daily basis sometimes. Sometimes I do it in the moment. I choose to align myself with my true purpose and what God created me to do and who He created me to be and who He created me for. I align myself with my divine partner, right? And sometimes many of us don't have that. Our divine partner sometimes is the source themselves or himself or itself, right? And many people are not going to understand that. That probably just went over some people's heads. However, like I choose to align myself with what God wants me to have. And so I'm doing that in my heart. I'm allowing God to cleanse my heart. I'm allowing the universe to cleanse my heart by allowing myself permission to enter into me. To go into covenant with me, to exercise and celibacy, because I don't want to be out here just with anybody. I want to be intentional about my body, intentional about my intimacy, intentional about my my emotions, my feelings when I express them for another person, right? However, I also want to be in alignment with what God brings into you. And I know for me, I'm a big believer, there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything that is happening to you is happening to you for a reason. Yes, you have a choice in it as to how it kind of goes down to a degree. However, you also have a choice in it and how you choose to show up and how you choose to, receive. And that's what I'm learning, how you choose to receive it. You can receive it in a high vibrational energy or frequency, or you can receive it in a low vibrational frequency or energy, right? So you can call more good to you, or you can call more bad. You can call light and love, or you can call darkness and sadness or misery. Whatever your energy is, and whatever your intention is, what you focus on is what you're gonna bring to you. So I call in my divine partner, right? I call in my divine partner because I'm calling in me. My divine partner is me, is me in the flesh, right? Because if I genuinely love everything about me, I genuinely, and I know some people are like, that don't even make no sense. Why would you want to love you? Because why would I not want to love me? A version of me that was made just for me. A version of me that is like has the correct, coding for me. The balance of me. The like they say the yin and the yang. I'm calling in me. I'm calling in that part of me, that balance, that other being that was created just like me, that matches me to a T, right? You know how you take a port and you plug it into the socket? Yeah, I'm calling in that. I'm calling in my port. I'm calling in my what they call it, my phallus, my divine plug. I'm calling in my partner. I'm calling in, that light that God intended for me to have, relationship wise. And I don't know if it's gonna be a man or a woman or a short person, a tall person, a big person, a small person. I don't know. I know that when that person comes, I'm gonna know. Because God is gonna make it known to me, right? And so it's not an easy process. I don't want people to think that this is easy because maybe it's not easy. I'm always checking myself. I'm always like, wait, should I say that? Should I not say that? And for me, I'm learning. You don't always have to second guess yourself. You truly walking in your true divine, yeah, you walking in your authenticity. You don't really have to check yourself so much. Really, after a while, you don't have to check yourself anymore. Because you're moving the right way, right? You're considerate of others, you're loving and kind and caring and nurturing towards others, and you're giving to others what you want to give back, to be given back to you. You're genuinely doing it, without um expectation, right? And I'm learning that, and I'm learning about, attachment and detachment, right? Attaching to something or some idea or some notion, or like the gold digger perspective, right? Attaching to someone because what they can give to you or what they can provide for you. I don't want to attach for that. I want to attach for purpose. I want to attach for purpose. What is our purpose in coming together, and how does our purposes align, right? It's deeper. And because when you align your purpose, I just feel like everything else is gonna fall into play, right? And that's just where I am. And I'm learning to unlearn all the things I learned when it comes to anything. When it comes to my whole life. I'm reprogramming myself. And I pray that me talking about it helps someone else to reprogram themselves. And so I'm going to end the message because I typically try not to make extremely long messages, because sometimes people don't want to sit and listen for a very long time, or they don't have the time. However, I just wanted to share this, and sometimes I just need somebody to talk to. So sometimes I can just turn the camera on and just bloop, just go, right? So I'm gonna leave it there. Check me out. Drop a comment if you resonate with what I'm talking about or if it makes sense. You know, because networking is good. And always remember, always, always, always remember to thine own self be true. Peace.